Who's that girl now? She's moving a bit. She's driving me crazy. She's attacking the bed. She nails her down now. He's moving around. Got everyone wondering what brought her down. Got a way to move to make it melt into the street. I'll get you to find a place for you.
For anyone who doesn't know, what do the Suicide Commandos sound like?
That give you an idea? Dave and I had been best friends since 6th grade. We were skateboard pals, and so I'd go over to Dave's house and skateboard, and then he and I got into a trio in junior high that would do like Blue Cheer songs and Cream songs and Jimi Hendrix songs. So we were pretty used to the idea of being in a power trio format, and we liked that already. I think I was exactly 20 because I'd graduated from Hampshire College in '75. I graduated a year early, so in order to rush back and form a rock and roll band, because Dave was hanging out and I knew that he was waiting for me.
And then in the fall of 1975, I got a call from these guys, and they made a proposition that we were, that we start a band with the express purpose to, make some money.
We knew what we wanted to do. All three of us were in agreement. We didn't like what was on the radio at all. In fact, we hated what was on the radio, but we loved Eddie Cochran, we liked Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps. We liked really spare, really rock and roll. And so we started to play in '75, and then in '76 we heard the Ramones and just flipped because they sounded so close to the sound that we had.
We're like, this looks really good and it sounds really good, and we got to get in on this.
I remember Steve coming over one day and sort of sharing, what was going on in New York. That's where the scene was happening, was CBGB's, and Steve declared, let's play in New York.
CBGB's was the place where punk rock started in the United States, really. That's where the Ramones and the Talking Heads and Patti Smith, they all played in that place. And we played there in June of 1976. When we went back to Minneapolis, the cachet that we got for having done that was
helpful. Punk, when we started, punk hadn't really come along yet. It hadn't been named. Yeah. And so we really were in the right place at the right time to become a part of that and to be part of a social phenomenon that we were the leading edge of. Not something that we set out to do, but we found ourselves there, and we found ourselves surrounded by like-minded people. So it was very heady. We were lucky enough to be the first band signed out of Minneapolis in a long time. So there was a page had been turned when the Commandos came along. But before we were hot, or before people cared about us, often they would hang around after a show to beat us up. And because we engendered that kind of response from people. And that's what we wanted. We did not want a neutral response. We either wanted very positive or very negative. City Pages named us in 1977 the best band and the worst band of the year. And I think that all of us Commandos would agree that that's the highest praise.
That's a high honor.
Yeah, that's the highest praise that we could go for.
Why did it only last 3 years? We were done in 1978, and it's because 1978 is when New Wave started, and the record companies were trying to figure out what's going on with all this stuff. Punk rock was too harsh for them, and so they invented the word New Wave. And this is, I think, a point that should be made. The Commandos were punk rock. We were not New Wave, and we weren't the kind of people to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And in the long run, it's worked to our benefit. There was a feeling we had kind of done what we needed to do, and we just stopped then.
Quitting at a high point.
Yeah.
Complicated fun. That's a song about the end of the punk. And the beginning of the new wave is the old wave because we know it all by heart. We're looking for an anthem that we haven't torn apart. That was really a little song about the band and about our efforts to make that kind of music.
Back in treatment, I got the sympathy I need. I told him I was Maxwell smart, and 99 agreed. We drank some beers and cracked some jokes, and that was quite enough. And I'm a whole lot older now, the novelty's worn off. The new wave is the old wave, 'cause we know it all by heart. We're looking for an anthem that we haven't torn apart. We gotta have fun. The future ain't tomorrow. Now the changes have begun. We got to get a handle on some complicated fun. Yeah, you show me where the plug is, and I'll recharge on the run. We got to get a handle on some complicated fun. So we rock.
I think I can speak for all of us. I've had a lot of great musical experiences after the Commandos, but that's the one time where the sum was truly greater than the parts. You know, there's not one piece that can be missing. And when the three of us get together, there's like this fourth thing, the Suicide Commandos, and it's just chemistry of some sort.
There's a little something that goes back and forth without having to be expressed or even thought about. We kind of understand what the other is going to do.
It's impossible to describe, but it only happens when the three of us play. And I think it has to do with the rhythm of how we play and how we attack the beat. Quite frankly, you know, we all attack it in a way that is simpatico. I was listening to that AC/DC song the other day. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. And Bon Scott is going, I'm telling you folks, it's harder than it looks. that sort of sums it up.
Thank you so much.
Minnesota Original is made possible by the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.